Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Slamhub Wrestling. Myself Suprit, and this is your AEW Dynamite review for March 2021. Abby, this was a really solid go home show for Revolution, I can say.
Absolutely, it was. Absolutely.
So, what did you think about this show? Because for me, so they showed it like everything on the show is like, they made extra effort to build their respective matches and all.
hmm
So, what did you think about the show?
I guess it was a solid show. The first match, I was not expecting the mixed tag match to be the opener, but I guess the you can say the skepticism in the booker's mind that first it was, or I should say, initially the match was booked at the pay-per-view in their heads, and then it came to Dynamite, and it was a marquee match that it is AEW Dynamite the Crossroads, and then it became the opener, not the main event. So probably it was a lot of skepticism in their mind and a lot of fear that how will the hardcore wrestling fans, which is the AEW fan base, would you know react to it. But overall, the match was fantastic in my opinion. On paper, it was not very pleasing, but how it went about, it was you know a sight to see in my opinion. So kudos to whoever were involved in that match, and the rest of the card. They did a, I should say, a good job, as you just said, to build the pay-per-view and to hype us for the pay-per-view. And they also aired the countdown to Dynamite just after this show on TNT. So I should expect that it was probably also a good show. I have not been able to watch that yet.
So, let's talk about this card. We had Cody Rhodes and Red Velvet versus SHAQ and Jade Cargill. We had a little press conference for both Chris Jericho and MJF. Nyla Rose versus Rio Mizunami, Jurassic Express versus FTR and Tully Blanchard, Max Castor versus number 10, and finally the main event was Hangman Page and John Silver. So they faced Matt Hardy and Marq Quen. So before that, if you are new to this channel, then make sure to like, share, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Also check out other content. Like last week, I did a new series on the channel called the Main Roster Talk, covering all WWE main roster stuff. And just few days ago, I posted a New Japan Castle Attack 2021 review with Mary Shadows, and we discussed the unfortunate news of both the IWGP Intercontinental and Heavyweight Championship being unified, merged. So check that out. So let's talk Dynamite here. But before we talk about this card, I wanted to give a reminder that we will be talking about AEW Revolution and predicting the entire stuff. So let's quickly get into Dynamite. So they opened up with Cody Rhodes and Red Velvet versus SHAQ and Jade Cargill. And like you said, I will repeat the same line that I didn't expect them to open with this match here. And we have discussed in the past that this was supposed to be a, pay-per-view level match. They could have made this a special attraction, but at the end of the day, putting it on Dynamite was the safe bet here. And opening this match, opening the theory behind opening this match was it was great for many reasons. And the match quality was really good. Like we didn't even expect that too. So what did you think about this match?
I guess uh, there can be a question to as to why they booked it to the opener instead of the main event. But yes, I just mentioned that maybe it was the skepticism and the fear that probably did it, because if someone said that if they had booked it in the main event, it could have also helped a lot with the ratings, that people would have, stayed with the show till the end to watch the match, because Shaq is still an attraction with the masses. So probably it could have helped uh, a bit with the ratings, and also it was a marquee match for the sake, and also how it went about. It was a good match. It was an entertaining match. If I would have seen this match in the main event, I would not have complained at all. It was a good match. It was a great match, and the end to the match also was uh, end to the match, and the ambulance stuff. uh, it could have been a great, cliffhanger to end the show rather than what we had. It was a clusterfuck, and it was a very bad send off, in my opinion. Very underwhelming, in my opinion, to close the show. But nonetheless, fear makes you do stuff, but nonetheless.
I think their mentality was, let's open up with this match because they didn't wanted those big ratings at the end. They wanted the big ratings from the get go, because at first glance you see Shaq, you could the many fans would consider staying and watching the rest of the stuff, but and they still managed to get some huge ratings, still shy from that 1 million mark. But
How much did they get? I have not seen the numbers yet.
I'm not going to check it out right now, but last I checked was it was about 997 or something.
Wow, that is good. That is good.
And I think they still managed to take away, about 200 or 300 k from NXT, because they did 600.
Ooh, in
And
the mud.
also they beat NXT in the 50 plus ratings, 50 plus demo, I guess I say.
Really?
Yes,
Wow.
all thanks to the Shack attack.
And his Shack Knife power bomb.
So
An
let's talk
ode
about
to
some highlights here in the match.
Brody
We will
Lee.
get to that.
Yes.
So Cody and Shaq began here, and this felt to me like a big Cody match from the get-go. You have the atmosphere, and he doesn't have to do a lot here. You know, so Cody and Shaq begin. So Shaq was showing off his strength from the get-go, and we see some chops to Cody, and tag made to Jade Cargill, and some great back and forth between her and who's the other one?
Red
Red Velvet.
Velvet.
Yes, yes. So we see Cody knocking Shaq off this corner, and the Gum Club and QT Marshall start getting involved, but they get beat up by Shaq. So Cargill and Cody have a small argument, and Velvet takes out Cargill with a moonsault. So we see Shaq hitting a Brody Lee-esque, the whole deal, a power bomb to Cody, and later on, we would see Cody launching over Shaq to the setup tables. Great spot here. So meanwhile, Velvet couldn't get the pin on Cargill with a spear. So at the end, we see Cargill. She did a glam slam for the win, and that was it. Like I said, good match here, and they didn't try to do a lot with Shaq. Limited stuff there, and the main focus was Jade Cargill and Red Velvet, and they somewhat managed to, do that and make it good. And even Jade Cargill, she looked fine, but I would like to see how she would have done in a singles action.
Hmm, absolutely. We would see that probably soon enough. And yes, with regards to this match, Shaq's overhead chops were, oh my God, it looked nasty as fuck at the start of the bout, and that got people invested in. that yes, he is taking it seriously, that he is not just here for a, you know, one-off or just, for a stroll, so to speak. Shaq looked great and Cody sold well for the big guy. And Shaq's interaction, as you said, with the Nightmare family outside, that looked, amazing. At one point, it even looked like Shaq was going to kill someone. So that adds to the realism of the bout. So it is great. And as you said, that Jade was the MVP of this match. That she looked great with her strength and athleticism. And uh, one of the big spots of hers was the crossbody counter into a follow slam. It looked effortless for her strength. So that was brilliant. The table spot was amazing. Yes, that was one of the highlights of the match. And Shaq and Jade won via pinfall. With she used the maneuver which Skylar uses in Wrestle Square. That is the Sky
Okay.
Shot, or Taya Valkyrie uses. That is the Road to Valhalla. Great stuff.
So we had a little post-match angle. We see Shaq being loaded inside a ambulance. Shivani is there to get a word, but Shaq is not in the ambulance. So Shaq has teleporting abilities.
That was a good cliffhanger to hold on to. We have to wait and see that what happens with the story. We probably will get an update next week on Dynamite, hopefully.
So next was a impromptu match. It wasn't announced, I guess. It was Ray, Phoenix, and Pac. So they were in an enhancement match. Sorry, I don't know who their opponents were. Do you
Same.
know the names here?
Nope. Same here. They mentioned one of the names. Second one, they didn't even bother.
So this was a squash match to hype up the tag team battle royal this on at the pay per view because Pac are Phoenix in it. So Pac and Phoenix would get the win after a 450 and a Siddharth tombstone, and that was basically it. So we
That
quickly head to the
that was probably not 450. The last one. That was a Firebird splash that which the legend Hayabusa used, which
but why
Pac
did it
did.
look like a 450?
It looked like a 450 because Excalibur said that it was a 450 and people expected it to be a 450. It was Hayabusa's, I guess, anniversary, his death anniversary, probably. I read it in one of the Facebook posts from a guy named Jur Basker. So that's how I got to know about it. If you go and look at the replay, it would look a little different from the traditional 450 splash.
So from that, we have this press conference for MJF and Chris Jericho. So we have questions being asked from the wrestling media. We had some famous ones here like Conrad Thompson, who instantly got fat shamed by MJF. No surprise.
Turkey
So
tits.
another was Eric Bischoff. He's a regular customer nowadays in AEW. So some of the questions being asked were like, uh, they wanted to get Jericho's thoughts on teaming with MJF. So Jericho puts over MJF as his greatest tag team partner ever. Even he's greater than the guys like Dwayne Johnson, Paul White, etc. So they even asked about Papa Buck and also Sammy Guevara. So speaking about Papa Buck, here comes the Young Bucks. So Nick was on the mic. Bad choice here. So Matt, at least Matt was sounding decent on the mic, putting over Papa Buck. And he also said if it wasn't for Papa Buck, there would be no Young Bucks. And if there was no Young Bucks, there would be no AEW, etc., etc. He also went on to say that if there was no AEW, MJF would be still living in his parents' basement and getting a call back from the Rosie O'Donnell show, while Jericho, he would still be jerking curtains at the performance center. So Bucks with super kicks to both Jericho and MJF. Then a brawl broke out as the rest of the inner circle join in. So Brandon Cutler, he also came in at the end, and we see some table spots for the Bucks, and that was it. It felt overall, it felt like a weak segment. What did you think about this whole thing?
Yes, it was, I guess, decent. It was it was meant to be. Just hype us for the, pay-per-view. The best thing they could have done was what happened last week. But then also the Bucks with their acting, they killed it. They killed it. I'm saying it in a bad way. They killed it. They killed the segment, and many people have said that. It was not only me who has a vendetta against the Young Bucks, but people said that because their father was getting attacked and their reaction was so plastic that it didn't translate to the audience that their father is getting attacked and there is no sense of urgency on their faces, so it didn't translate and the segment didn't have the desired impact which it needed to be. The duo of Jericho and MJF did their job, leading him up and posing to the camera and running off in their vehicle. But the Bucks did a horrible job then. But yes, they did what they had to do this time, doing their aerial shit to pop the crowd. Okay.
I think the Young Bucks are, limited to telling great stories in a match itself, not in being in long-term feuds. Because, in cutting promos and stuff, I think I'm especially, accustomed to, listening them in BT. They don't sound bad in that way,
Hmm.
but in your traditional promos they lack. But like I said, Matt Jackson sometimes sound decent compared to Nick Jackson is
But the thing is that, yes, I would agree with you. But the thing is that if you are being built for a, place like a superstar or a superstardom, or you are a top tier tag team, you should be able to cut promos. You should be able to get the fans invested from speaking on the mic also. So probably they will get used to it with the passage of time, or they should practice it. I am not an expert to tell them that,
can they
but
get a
yes,
manager? Sorry to interrupt, but can they get a manager?
they probably can if it fits their whole, you know, character of sorts. They absolutely can. I don't know how good Cutler is on the mic. I don't know how other people are on the mic. He's not. He's not good.
No, for
Okay.
some reason I don't think so. He's that great on the mic.
I also think so too. But they can get someone who resonates with their character from outside, and then they can form that. Their ensemble. So then it would help a lot with their feuds. It would help a lot with their feuds with the likes of any of the tag teams. And even if they are, gunning or facing a tag team with the likes of the middle card or the lower card who are not good on the mic, they would be able to carry that feud. They would be able to get the fans invested. when they are good on the mic, or their manager does that job, or their valet, or whatever, advocate, whatever you want to call that, it would do a good job. Kenny Omega with Don Callis, it is doing good, even if we have seen just a small sliver of what is the potential of that partnership. So the Young Bucks can go for a manager, in my opinion.
I think
But will their
Excalibur.
ego, accept that?
I think the Excalibur, Excalibur can be a manager for Young Bucks if they,
It
there's
can
all
be.
there's already story between those three guys, and I think if you remember, they when FTR were feuding with the Young Bucks and they were building their program at Full Gear, they had a little segment, interview like split screen like interview, when where one
Mm-hmm.
side Tully Blanchard was talking for FTR and the other side Excalibur was talking for the Young Bucks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They can do that.
They can do that, but the fact is that will Excalibur be, allowed to do both the things? Being a manager and being a commentator. He's not Abhimaniac, boss.
Ah, I see. Hey, now that we have mentioned FTR, let's talk about their match here. So FTR and Tully Blanchard versus Jurassic Express. So we are going old school here because we see Dillon coming out and we see FTR and Tully wearing those old school NWA titles. Um, Tully was wearing the US title and
Tag team
FTR they
champ.
were wearing the World Tag Team titles. And I think this overall presentation was a tribute to the late great Jim Crockett Jr., I guess.
Uh, I guess it was the passing was announced post what happened, but they did the presentation what they had to do, because it was a big thing for Tully Blanchard after so many years returning to the ring. So it should be celebrated, and it should be made aware that how big of a legend he was, and how big of a legend he is, and what has been his accomplishments. So they had to give that.
So this entire match it was entertaining and just like Shaq, even Tully Blanchard here did some limited stuff but looked great at the same time. And they revisited the story between Harwood and Jungle Boy. And so let's talk about the match here. So Jungle Boy was getting worked in the heel corner, and we see some double team moves on him. So Wheeler with several pinfalls on Jungle Boy. So Luchasaurus got the hot tag as he ran wild on the entire heel team. So at one point he hit a double German on FTR that looked great. So final parts of the match saw Jungle Boy was going for a dive it seems, but he gets blindsided by someone in a hoodie. So meanwhile, Luchasaurus ate a triple team spike pile driver for the win, and that was it. So what did you think about this match?
I also thought that it was an entertaining match. I guess I also saw many things which happened during the match, like JJ Dillon passing the shoe. It was their old school, shenanigan, that using the weapon of sorts for the heel team to get the pinfall victory against the babyface. But it didn't materialize. Yes, it was a nostalgia factor. And then one of the points which I saw was that Tully Blanchard was just standing outside. But what was happening was that Jungle Boy was in the corner, their corner, and he had his foot on his hair, and referee was not able to see that. And from the hair, he is not Jungle Boy is not able to escape. obviously, and that is an illegal maneuver. So that is one of you can say a little nuances for the heel tag teams to study that how tag team wrestling is done. Apart from your spots and flips, getting the fans invested and getting the booze, the heat, that is how it's done. And they did the traditional isolation technique on Jungle Boy, as you said. Absolutely, they did. FTR and Tully Blanchard, they did throughout the commercial break. They did that. And as you said, the hoodie guy, the masked hoodie guy helped FTR and Tully to win the bout via pinfall. It was
So,
entertaining.
can you, in some form or fashion, this feud is over, I think, between FTR and Jurassic Express. But would you like to see this actual tag team match between these two teams? Maybe, in a tag team title situation.
Tag team title situation, it would probably happen sometime in the future when FTR is, holding the tag team belts, and then it would be a huge deal. I can say that from watching this match only. It would be a huge deal. And
So let's talk.
yes, I would probably want to see that absolutely.
Shall we get to the post match angle?
Yes,
So this hooded dude was revealed to be none other than Sean Spears. So they all do the horseman like pose. We even had Arn Anderson showing up, and this was the first time we see Sean Spears and FTR at the same time. And they could do the horseman deal right now because we have talked about in the past that they should do the horseman like faction here, and it could mainly benefit Sean Spears, not FTR.
yes, possibly, and probably it could benefit everyone that there is a presence of four guys and there is a faction and it is going about everywhere. And at one point of time, it would, go about and get the championships. So it would be a sight to see, of course. And the one guy who is still missing is, of course, Cody Rhodes. Will he join? Will he not? We have to wait and see because the original four horse men didn't have Dusty Rhodes. He was on the opposite side. He was on the good side. But here, there is a strong possibility that Cody Rhodes would be the member of this faction. And, there was a point a few weeks ago that Cody Rhodes was there on commentary on one of the matches of FTR, and he was hyping the face of the Revolution ladder match. He was actually announcing. It was the first time when it was announced. It was probably 2 weeks ago, or maybe 1 week ago, and it was an FTR match. And now we see Arn Anderson, making his way out of the tunnel and giving the four horsemen signal. So I am expecting it is happening. And how it manifests, we have to wait and see. Because now SHAQ probably is somewhere, in some other dimension. He has teleported, as you said. So where is he? We don't know. So Cody does not have anything at this point. So why not? He would be in the face of the Revolution ladder match, of course. But if FTR or Sean Spears help him get the victory,
We'll have to wait and see, man. We'll have to wait and see. And
absolutely.
if we are getting a four horseman like thing, I would like to see the NWA championship over here.
uh, It would happen also. Obviously, Nick Aldis is coming here.
Enough of Nick Aldis. He's just warming the bench, as you say.
They have announced their comeback, their pay-per-view on March 21st. That is, I guess, uh, back to the black, if I'm not wrong. That is,
I think it's happening at WrestleMania weekend.
yes, and it is going to air on Fight. So we can also expect some surprises there also because their roster is too thick. So we have to wait and see that how has the Forbidden Door helped the NWA?
Uh, let's talk about FTR. I got some news on FTR. So we briefly talked about on this talked about FTR in the recent New Japan review show I did just few days ago. Where so what happened was Guerrillas of Destiny. So they are actually calling out every tag team from every promotion. So they also mentioned FTR and the quote unquote Good Sisters. So are we getting into a situation where we could see FTR versus GOD?
Mm. Anything can happen because the thing is that as you have possibly said in the past that there are finite number of people who are right now I guess booked for New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong, the program. So they can appear in some shape or capacity on AEW programming. It it included those people. So I was looking forward to seeing their names for the tag team battle royal, but you are saying it right now. I could probably see them in the tag team casino battle royal uh, because there would be some credible team who would be winning the said battle royal. And right now, as of now, I have not seen such a team that would be winning the battle royal. So it could be a surprise. It could be the God, it could be Enzo and Cass who just recently appeared on Impact Plus app on specials, and it could very well be the Good Brothers because they were ducking the competition and they wanted that the Young Bucks, keep the belts or whatever they wanted. So those are probably the three teams who can possibly, make an impact, pun intended, for the tag team casino battle royal.
Hey, I would like to, I would actually prefer FTR going over there in New Japan and, at least improving that tag team division because the general thought is WWE's tag team division sucks. Okay. But if you see New Japan's tag team division, that division is the shits. You know, there's a reason why God has been winning 7 tag team title reigns and that tag team division doesn't even exist. So if you send FTR over there, there will be some credibility in that division.
Mhm. Uh, I know for a fact that FTR would be going to NWA without a shadow of a doubt because it is close to their heart and that is their style. When you would see NWA and FTR in under one umbrella, you would see magic. But you saying that FTR going to New Japan, uh, I guess it is good. And if they are willing, yes, it would probably happen absolutely. And it would be great. I would agree with that. Absolutely. And probably they would be willing.
And I won't even send FTR only. I would send the rest of the undercard tag team in AEW.
Where?
You know, if they want to interact with that tag team division.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that was the entire FTR GOD deal. Let's quickly get back into Dynamite. So after all this interaction with the Four Horsemen and stuff, so we quickly see Tony Schiavone on the stage. So JJ Dillon, he tells Schiavone that this entire thing that happened, that nobody can top this. So Schiavone responds that you still won't be getting your pay. You won't be getting a higher pay, something like that.
Yeah.
So Shivani, he finally introduces Paul White. So he's called No More BS Paul White.
Fuck yeah.
Paul White, so he's happy to be here in AEW, he says, and talks briefly on AEW Dark Elevation, etc. The entire deal. He also talks about being on commentary over there. So he said he has a big scoop. So he said at AEW Evolution, not Revolution, Evolution, they
He
will be
probably was
signing. Huh?
nothing. I was just saying that he probably saw one of my promos and he botched it the same way as I did. Nothing.
So he said they will be signing a Hall of Fame worthy talent in AEW. So you see this announcement, for me, the excitement level of a revolution with this announcement has taken to yet another level, because I
Hmm.
want to see who this quote unquote major signing is. So obviously there are many names being dropped around. Like the one common name is of course CM Punk, you know, and other common names are like Kurt Angle, Brock Lesnar, and even I saw RVD being come about. So who do you think this big name is gonna be?
Uh, the chances, more of the chances are probably Kurt Angle, but as you said, the names as of this point are Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle, CM Punk, and probably Mark Henry.
I also thought about Mark Henry because he's also like that big Sochi division. He's somewhat of an ambassador, type of deal.
Yes,
But do you really, but the way they mentioned and announced it, it feels like that certain individual will also be an in-ring competitor.
it seems so.
So in that case, CM Punk could be a game changer.
Yes, absolutely, he could be. And s- Kurt Angle would have a little less of an impact, but the thing is that anyone of the names that we mentioned, it could be a big deal. And why are they doing such a big deal out of it? Because uh, there was one interview of Chris Jericho, and he paraphrased what we have discussed. That is that AEW is gunning for a deal in India, but the fact is that it has already been done with Eurosports. But they are gunning for a deal in India and they want a huge presence in India because it is a huge market. So they are going for names who can translate to the audience and who are known to the Indian audience. So they would have a bigger penetration throughout the audience. So they are going for such names like Big Show and other names. So we know Lesnar, we know CM Punk, we know Mark Henry. So any big name would be, uh, you know, getting the deal. We have
Kurt
to wait and
Angle,
see.
Kurt Angle is okay to some extent, but what about Brock Lesnar? What can he, contribute to AEW? Because he's one of those guys that he's only himself. First priority is himself.
Hmm.
But in small cases, he will consider, if he likes that person or not, putting others over.
Yes.
But do you see a Brock Lesnar like character working in AEW?
Absolutely, why not? Because the fact is that it would get you huge number of eyes. Brock Lesnar is a box office draw, absolutely, still. And even if, when WWE had him, on WWE television, the US ratings went up whenever he made his return, even in a span of 3 weeks, the ratings went up because Brock Lesnar is still a draw. And how will AEW book him? Probably he would be booked the same way as he was because he is such a personality. He looks like a monster and he is like that. He would be selling for only a couple of people who are main event talent, who are to be made huge stars. He would not be, selling for a guy like Alan Angels or Marco Stunt. So, yes, he is for himself, but the fact is that he is getting you a lot of credibility. Plus, he would be getting you a lot of merch sales money. So, it is there. And many people from the masses know him, from UFC know him, from MMA know him, and even from he has done a few movies, so they also know him. So, they would also come to know that Brock Lesnar has signed with a company. There is a company called AEW. So they would get to know about the company and they would also get drawn in. So Brock Lesnar would be a huge deal, absolutely. And how will they use him? That is up to AEW to figure out that how will they use him with the likes of Kenny Omega, Cody Rhodes, and the other people because they need the talent to up their ratings and expand through the United States and even beyond. So we have to wait and see that what happens.
If somehow AEW signs Brock Lesnar, I would compare this situation to WCW signing Hulk Hogan.
Absolutely.
And we know how that went. So from that, let's talk about the women's championship eliminator tournament. So I wanted to get your thoughts on this entire stuff. Did you see any progress in this tournament, or AEW didn't put much effort to their division?
uh, I don't know. Probably that it was only confined to YouTube. Then probably it didn't even was given a bigger, huge deal, or it was given a fuck on Dynamite, probably. So, nonetheless, how with limited time period they have to get this done, obviously. But whatever has happened, because with regards to the finalists, that is Ryo Mizunami and Nyla Rose. So I guess it was what it was. What was their plan? I don't know at this point because who came out as a winner, I was shocked because I was expecting the other woman to win because she has a manager. Her character was, decent, and she also was more comfortable with the camera. She was interacting with the audience also, and they were also hyping that it would be their third meeting. So probably I was expecting that it would be a third meeting of sorts, and yes, it would be boring because the outcome, even if the title changes, it would be given to the former champion. So, what would be new? And now, with regards to the other person has won, I am expecting the title to be retained at Revolution, and a huge, probably a surprise challenger would be. coming from the horizon to challenge, probably from another promotion.
So
That's all.
let's talk some positives from the tournament because everyone was talking about Maki, but me personally, I see the breakout star of this entire tournament was Veni
Mm-hmm.
because she stands out from that Joshi mold, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't mind them at least going ahead and signing her because she would be a great asset to this division.
Mm-hmm.
And the other
I
thing, the other thing I wanted to say is that after seeing this entire tournament, we can come to the conclusion that they have great talent, but the management needs to treat them well.
mm-hmm. Yes. And the fact is also the talents, whoever competed, they also got the exposure to the AW umbrella. So that also made them a huge deal. And probably they would get signed sometime in the future, as you are saying with regards to Veni or Asuka. She would get signed because yes, she is a great talent and she had a great match with Emi Sakura. Yes, absolutely. And the other talents also were great. And you know, with regards to Ryo Mizunami, her whole journey, they said that she beat Maki Ito, she beat Aja Kong, and then just before this, she beat Yuka Sakazaki. So that also they said that she is a huge deal. They made it a huge deal with regards to her. And yes, she is flamboyant. She, looks eccentric. She looks different, and she is solid in the ring. I will give it to you. I have seen her on Gatomo Chaco Pro, Emi Sakura's, promotion. Yes, she is great in the ring. Absolutely. But AEW World Women's Champion, I don't think so because you are, uh, gunning for the audience, the masses, and I am going to sound stereotypical, but the fact is that they go for women who look great. Most of the time, they go for them. So I do not expect, uh, Ryu Mizunami to win. Absolutely, it would be a great match, no doubt about it. But please don't hate the fact that there is a stipulation, there is a face that there should be a face of the company, someone is a representative of your company, and they would not be, positioning Ryo Mizunami as a champion. I don't think so.
So let's talk about how Ryo Mizunami got there. So we had the finals of the Women's Eliminator tournament. It was Nyla Rose versus the Rainmaker Ryo Mizunami. I had to get in there. So decent match here. Like you said, you talked about how good Mizunami is. She is good, but the thing is, she needs to tone down that goofiness about her. She goes
That
too
is from
overboard.
Choco Pro.
Yeah, she needs to tone it down because at least for this national audience, you are on national TV, you are on TNT. Needs to, you know. And talking about Nyla Rose, she was also has improved a lot in this tournament. See some decent matches in this entire tournament.
Hmm,
So let's
agreed.
get to this match. We would see some strikes being exchanged between the two women here. So at the end, we see Mizunami with a spear and a top rope leg drop for the win. So there you go. Mizunami has won the women's eliminator tournament. She gets a women's title shot at Revolution. So post match, we see Hikaru Shida. So she was there to present the trophy for Mizunami. But all of a sudden, both women started exchanging strikes and smiling. So there you go.
Hmm.
And you said that you don't want Mizunami to win the title, right?
No, I do not want, that is not the correct, you can say, I do not see, because the company would not see. There is a standard, perception between all the companies. You, she would only win if she were an underdog and she had a story behind him. She had the fans behind him. She could have won. Just a case of Daniel Bryan. But right now, I do not see her winning. If they are giving her the belt, give her the belt. But I do not see that, translating very further.
I actually didn't mind them giving the tournament to her, but
Hmm.
so after this revolution thing is done, they could still have a chance to make Britt Baker or Thunder Rosa the next contender, like we originally planned and predicted to.
Yes.
So this was the women's eliminator tournament. So let's get to the next match here. So it was Max Caster versus number 10 of the Dark Order. So it was a qualifying match for the ladder match at Revolution. So I don't know how they came up with this match, this pairing here, but I think the theory was to at least get one undercard guy on this ladder match.
They didn't have Scorpio Sky.
You can make an exception for Scorpio Sky, but at least he is somewhat of a known figure in AEW.
Yes.
So
You
we
skipped
see.
the Sting interview.
I will talk it after this match is done.
Okay.
So we see negative one accompanying number 10 here. So Castor with his traditional diss rap. At the end, we see Jack Evans in this match getting involved and hitting number 10 with a boombox. So Castor capitalized and won, and that was it. So at a post-match angle, we see Matt Hardy coming out. He gave a big envelope to Evans as a reward for taking out a Dark Order member, and that was basically it. So thoughts on this?
I guess the only thing was that yes, there was some logic behind that what Jack Evans did, and it is good that there is logic behind the storytelling, and Matt Hardy in getting involved and giving the money to them for he has this agenda to destroy every member of the Dark Order faction so as to get revenge for Hangman Adam Page. So there's that perfectly fine. And this was what it was. It was a good match. It was a decent match. It was not a very good or very good or out of the ordinary match. And the thing which was notable for me was Scorpio Sky on commentary. That is that he was, pathetic. He was horrible on commentary. It is he tried to be arrogant. He tried to be mean, but he's not. He's a good guy. He's a nice guy in his heart. But he tried to be. He tried to be obnoxious. He tried to be arrogant. He tried to be mean on commentary. And and also when the commentators asked him questions, he was many at times clueless. At one point, he was asked about Lance Archer, that what is your opinion regarding Lance Archer being in the match? He didn't answer. He didn't answer anything. He was just mute. And I have an suggestion that why doesn't Scorpio Sky just stay on his YouTube review show and stay away from Dynamite? Phony
Because
fucking
he
bitch.
knows, because he knows We are better at the review game, not he and Scorpio, him and his partner.
He is killing the game for the review people also. He is so much good.
So you're saying that he should, consider on his mic work, maybe improve on that.
Yes, Mike Work is basically his presence of mind that uh, when he is asked, you can say in real time, in the moment, that how should you answer? Because yes, he is trying to be arrogant. He's probably trying to be a heel now. He's trying to be a villain. So yes, so get into the character wholeheartedly, and then answer the questions. And don't restrain yourself with regards to anything, because sometimes there would be answers which would be coming out of your brain which is heelish, of course. So say that, because you are a heel and you have to say that, and you are restraining yourself or you are just keeping mute, that won't work and that won't translate to the audience. And the audience would also grab that and would see that this is a fucking phony. He is not a bad guy. So why would we care?
But in the past, Scorpio Sky has sounded, somewhat of decent in promos.
Yes, he has. But now I don't know what has happened to him. Now it is real time and he is on commentary. He is also watching the match. He is also, listening to maybe someone in his ear and also someone, the people who are sitting beside. So yes, it is a tricky job, obviously. But yes, in real time, you have to answer the questions in character. Just push your nice guy who you really are to the side at that point. That's all.
So anything wanted to say about Max Caster versus number 10?
Max Castor versus number 10. Max Castor at one point was targeting the left arm, so that is good that they were, going for a story and targeting a limb with regards to it. And yes, Max Caster finally won, so that is good. That you know he is a character, he is entertaining, and yes, it is somewhat you can say odd that when their partners are not at ringside, a tag team, a legit tag team is there performing, and their partners are not at ringside, so it looks a little odd. That's all.
And by the way, what do you think about number 10, Preston Vance? Do you think it's a little too much that he's still wrestling in a mask, or he should slowly decide to, get that mask off and be with those dark order colors, but, show a different side of his character?
Uh, Probably it is not up to him. Yes, he has the build, he has the look, and he is good in the ring. Yes, absolutely. But yes, probably there is not much, you can say, space, the TV time to have a new character being introduced in the realm of AEW. So the fact is that right now he is a part of a faction which is still trying to get over. Obviously, yes, the passing of Brody Lee, unfortunately, yes, has given them a bump up, that yes, now people are getting behind them. Commentators are getting invested, they are also pushing them. So it is good to be in that faction. But yes, when the time will come, probably, and when there would be two shows on the TNT network, then probably it would happen that the people would be getting apart or probably having their own identity, just like John Silver and Alex Reynolds have, and Evil Uno.
So from that, we will talk about some Dark Order stuff in the main event. But before that, we had a little Stings, you know. So he had yet another interview segment. I would say that after the angle they did last week, they didn't needed, Sting's involvement in this week's Dynamite, because like they did with Omega and Moxley, they kept them off TV this week, okay, and hyped their death match, with that little promo, not the video package hyping up the death match, like what the death match is. They even had Onita showing up. They could have done the similar situation here with Sting and Darby Allin too, but they kind of, did the same old team tag and vagera
Hmm.
vagera etc. The same stuff in this segment too. So thoughts on this?
Probably they didn't, you know, have short vignette, a very compelling vignette with regards to the street fight. Getting shots of the streets where they are probably getting the match, because there is still intrigue that where are they doing the match, so to speak. This week, it probably felt like they are not doing it in the ring. At one point, it looked like they are doing it in the streets. So they are keeping the intrigue within. So probably that is what it is. So, and with regards to Kenny Omega and yes, John Moxley not being on the show, probably there was some guy, that is you, who complained, or probably just a little, you critiqued a little bit about Kenny Omega's funny, segment with Don Callis last week. So they just grabbed him from the show.
But still, in that Omega Moxley situation, that was a great way to build their match.
Yes, I would agree.
So let's quickly get into the main event. But before that, a little promo segment from Miro here, our boy Miro. So he talks about his match at Revolution and says it's gonna be game over for Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor. That's it. Main event time here: Matt Hardy and Mark Quen versus John Silver and Hangman Page. And I don't know if we have seen this, but Tony Khan was actually talking about that he has made some changes to a Dynamite match. So was it this match that he was mentioning?
What was this match initially?
I don't know. I think Isaiah Cassidy was originally placed in this match. Was it?
Hmm. Probably. And Isaiah Cassidy was not to be found. And, last week we, asked the question that where is Mark Quinn? And why wasn't he, anywhere seen with regards to this feud? And is he not fitting to the storyline? That is why he is in the sidelines or at home. So we talked about him, and now he is here. So there's that. And also there was one more thing which was talked about by the commentators, that is that Mark Cohen has gotten bigger. So what are you implying? What are you implying? That with these weeks that he was out, what his absence, him getting bigger, do you want me to say it that what was he doing?
He's on the gin and juice diet.
Gin and juice diet, probably, which is not, legal. So,
Are you implying that gin and juice is not legal?
no, the thing which he used, probably.
Ah, I think that was a casual line thrown by JR.
No, 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 no.
Yeah, actually,
Yes,
that
he
that is
used it casually, obviously, but his absence and him coming out and him looking bigger within a span of such time, and him even looking very much, you can say uncomfortable, or probably not used to carrying his weight with the spots that he did previously, with him being lighter. It poses a question.
let's
That
not
is
go
what
there.
I'm saying.
Let's not go there.
I'm not going. I already have. I already have. Yes, I'm not naming it, obviously, but the fact is that how you did just, threw him out just in a span of a week when we discussed him, and then your commentators are saying that he has gotten bigger. Man, you are raising a lot of questions.
I don't know, man. I'm sticking to that gin and juice diet.
I also, he would be taking the gin and juice diet, obviously, just like every other, competitor does to, get in buff shape, because the heels are supposed to be, in, buff shape, so that they look intimidating to the baby faces. And yes, it also get the fans invested, the masses invested in them, that they have a look of a professional wrestler. I get that, but all the circumstances, they look shady. That's all.
Come on, man. We already have a Chris Jericho as a conspiracy theorist. Don't be the second one. So let's get to the actual matter here. So it was
Yes.
the main event here, and so we are informed that Page is back in the top five rankings. So this is signaling a lot of things here.
Hmm.
So let's talk about the match here. So Page and Silver were in control of Quen. Quen did a somersault of a back body drop. This looked great. So the heel team would work on Silver for a while until tag made to Page. He ran wild and even got his hands on Matt Hardy. So Hardy was not tagging in unless his team was on the offense. So at the end, he decided not to tag in as Quen was getting beat up, double team, the entire stuff. And a buckshot lariat gets Silver and Page the win, and that was your match. So a little post match angle here. So Hardy would attack both Silver and Page, so Hardy was beating up Page with a mic until the Dark Order came out, and so they ganged up on Hardy. And then we see all the participants of this tag team battle royal, and we see a big brawl, your typical way to build a big battle royal and a Royal Rumble. So that's the same thing that they did here, and that's how the show went off the air.
WWE does it better,
Mm,
but
yeah, but
nonetheless.
I get it. I get your point. I get it. So that was Dynamite.
Yes, that was dynamite.
So let's get into the predictions as we promised.
Yes.
I have to say that saw this card, and there are at least 9 matches on the card here. And I propose the question here: why would you put these many matches on a, you know, it's supposed to be a 3 hour, 4 hour pay per view, but why are you overstacking it? Like, and this has been the theme lately with AEW pay-per-views. They are going for the the old, you know like 3 4 years ago what WWE used to do. Like, they would have put every match possible on a pay-per-view, but nowadays they have considering the quality or quantity, but AEW is going into the quantity realm of things.
I don't know. Probably they are, the thing is that it is still, can say, a smaller promotion, probably. It is. So as much exposure as you can get, give with regards to your talent. So that is why they are, putting them on the pay-per-view. All the guys who are in, storylines, and they are, investing so much with regards to storylines. Almost all the people have some kind of a storyline. It is not probably WWE bullshit that yes, I choose you and we go to WrestleMania. That's it. Done. No, there is some, stuff involved. So it is stuff involved. Yes, they are giving it obviously, and they have even contacted some of the cinemas to, uh, you know, I should say broadcast or probably whatever to, schedule a filming for the said show. So they are pulling all the stops with regards to the show. And yes, last year AEW Revolution was one of the best shows of the year for them. So they are making sure that it the Revolution pay-per-view is made a huge deal, and it is one of their big pay-per-views with regards to it. That WWE has the big four: SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania. So they can have, Revolution as one of their big pay-per-views with All Out and the probably other people. So
So
there's that problem.
let's talk about the matches here, though. So they announced a pre-show match here, and I would say I would have got rid of this first three matches that we are going to talk about. So one of
Mm-hmm.
them were Rio and Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker and Reba. So this is simple here. Reba can easily take the pin, so Rosa and Rio can win this stuff.
Yes, it is in the kickoff show or whatever they call it. So baby faces would probably be winning. Yes.
Miro and Kip Sabian versus Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor. I say give it to Miro and Sabian because recently they were made to look bad in that wedding, so this could be some, retribution.
Mm-hmm. I would go with Cassidy and Taylor with regards to it. That probably, to extend it a little further, because they are probably gunning for Miro versus Cassidy at some point so as to end it. So probably they would be right now giving the win to Cassidy and Taylor. And probably we could see, I'm not, very much sure, but probably we can see, Trent in some capacity.
We have the Casino Tag Team Battle Royal. So you were, actually pitching God as a surprise or any literally any surprise to be win this battle royal. But I would say keep that surprise limited to that Paul White announcement.
Mm,
Let there be only one announcement on the paper. Not they are already teasing the Revolution ladder by that there will be a surprise entrant, but
mm-hmm,
we don't those many surprises. So sticking with the active roster, I'm going with Silver and Reynolds to win this whole thing. Who you got?
mm-hmm. I was going with one of the, surprise people, probably the Good Brothers or Enzo Cass or God.
How about if you had to pick from the actual roster, who would it be?
Actual roster, mm, Young Bucks,
Because except FTR, literally every tag team from AEW is in this match.
even Lucha Brothers are not there. Pentagon is there.
It's Phoenix and Pac actually.
Yes. Mm. Phoenix and Pac probably, or are they competing? LAX, Santana and Ortiz.
Last I checked, even they are in this match.
Hmm. So probably I would go with back and you know
Phoenix.
Phoenix. Yes.
So I'm going with Silver and Reynolds. Let's talk about the face of the Revolution ladder match. Winner, of course, gets a TNT title shot. So I'm actually picking the surprise entrant that they are talking about, the last guy from to be in this match, and I don't even mind the surprise entrant being from the active roster.
Hmm.
Who you got?
I am thinking that I guess it would get a lot of heat probably, but the sixth man could be Austin Aries, and I am expecting him to win.
Austin Aries. I don't know, man. I think he has got a lot of. He's one of those other conspiracy theorists.
We'll have a party.
And if they are going for an outsider, I wouldn't mind, getting someone from Impact for the surprise entrant. Maybe an Ace Austin.
Hmm. Probably,
We'll
why
have
not?
to wait and see. But let's get to the big matches here. And let's start with the big money match. Adam Page versus Matt Hardy. Who you got?
I got, I guess, big money Matt. Right now, I'm seeing him win as of now because I want probably I'm thinking that it could, the feud could little extend for a bit, and he has been losing ever since in his big matches. He lost to, I guess, Sammy Guevara last remember. So he has been losing in big matches. So one win would probably, set him, something that he is something and he is something to be cared about even. Right now, his stock is too low. That Matt Hardy people are even saying that when Matt Hardy comes on the screen, we just sleep. What the fuck? But he is a legend. So book him as such. Yes, he is associated with a guy, and yes, he associated with even TS2. Yes, associated with a private party. Agreed. And he has this new character, big money Matt. So establish it, make it credible, and then you can go for it. And uh, as far as you were saying that Hangman is now ranked number five and probably something along those lines, and probably he would be going for the world championship. So there are many people going for the world championship at this point. So if he is stuck with Matt Hardy for the or Big Money Matt for the time being, be it actually legitimize Matt Hardy at this point because it is necessary.
I would actually go with Page because I would stick with that, top ranking thing because I think losing to Matt Hardy is not the thing to do because he has to continue that momentum. If you are stretching this out, because it should be a long time, after 3, 4, 5 months or so that he should get that title shot. So let's
Hmm.
continue with this momentum for now. Maybe you can some sorts with Hardy if you want to. So for now, I'm sticking with Page.
Hmm.
So up next, Hikaru Shida versus Ryu Mizunami. It's for the women's championship. So I would say at this point, let Shida retain because as we had discussed, there's no point giving the title right now to Mizunami.
Yes, I would also say the same. We have discussed it at length, in the women's eliminator, discussion previously. I don't see Ryo Mizunami at this point being the champion, and now Hikaru Shida retains. Yes, it is a long, lengthy title reign for her, and probably some new challenger emerges after the match gets over. Probably someone from the other promotion, probably Impact, probably Diana Perazzo. We have to wait and see.
We have Young Bucks versus Chris Jericho and MJF. So this is for the AEW Tag Team Championship. I'm going for the Young Bucks because I think there is something else they want to do with Jericho and MJF. Maybe you could see an unexpected turn on Jericho at the pay-per-view. Who knows?
Yes, I would go with the Young Bucks too. MJF would double cross Chris Jericho, and probably we would see Sammy Guevara on Dynamite, upcoming Dynamite.
So we have yet another tag team match here. So this is Sting and Darby Allin versus Ricky Starks and Brian Cage in a street fight. So this whole thing is to, I think this whole thing is being done to end this long feud between Team Taz and Darby Allin. So why not let's get Sting and Darby Allin the win and let them go over. What do you think?
Yes, I would agree. Sting and Darby would be winning this match, and also, unlike WWE, Sting would be getting this win. I guess Sting hasn't gotten a win in WWE. Am I correct?
He's never won a match, I guess.
He's never
I
won a
think
match
there's
in
there was
WWE.
one. I think there was one instance he was on Raw and they made a tag match and he tapped out Seth Rollins or something.
Who remembers who gives a fuck, basically.
Exactly.
Hmm.
So I think we are both going over selecting Sting and Allen to win.
Yes.
So finally, let's talk about the main event. It is for the AEW World Championship in an exploding barbed wire death match. Kenny Omega and John Moxley. Who you got?
I got the cleaner, Kenny Omega, to win this match. Yes, it would be chaos. It would, cringe us out of our, fucking lives. But, Kenny Omega would be, standing tall with the title with Don Callis. And yes, uh, he would now have a lengthy title reign. Yes, with the championship to be a legitimate champion of the company and to legitimize the title, of course. And yes, I do not think that he would be losing the championship anytime soon.
Even I'm going with Omega because, like you said, I think there is the plan is to have him hold the championship for a long, long time, and there are major plans regarding that. So why risk losing to Moxley right now? Because there's no point in giving back the title this soon to Moxley. So I'm sticking with Omega, still retaining the championship.
Yes.
So those were our predictions for AEW Revolution 2021. And before we leave, where can these guys find you, Abby?
Guys, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Abby Maniac. And I am currently working with an independent wrestling promotion in India called Wrestle Square. I am the top 50% and the commentator for the company. You can subscribe to their YouTube channel at Wrestle Square Pro Wrestling India.
So you can find Slamhub Wrestling on Twitter at SlamhubW, Instagram at Slamhub Wrestling, And you can catch the audio version of this review on Anchor and Spotify as well. And also, I want to say again, make sure to subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Please get me to 300 subscribers. We are close enough, so I want to get that done before March is done. So this was the AEW Dynamite review, and we'll see you guys next time.